Now, staying in Nigeria, and one of the two Catholic priests abducted last week by gunmen in the northern state of Kaduna has been shot dead by his captors after they reportedly collected a ransom. It's understood the other hostage managed to escape. Kidnapped victims in Nigeria are usually released after paying a ransom as the country grapples with a wave of deadly violence by armed gangs. Priests John Mark Chitnam and Donatus Cleopas were seized on July the 15th in a church at Yadingura village in Kaduna State, where they had stopped for the night. On Tuesday, Cleopas managed to escape from his abductors as they were leading him to a meeting point where they were expecting to receive a ransom from an envoy from the Christian Association of Nigeria. To look at this in more detail, I'm joined by Defense and Security Analyst Dr. Kabir Adamu, who is also CEO of the security firm Beacon Consulting. Good to see you, Dr. Adamu. What more can you tell us about the shooting and how this priest came to be killed?
Thank you, Charles, and good evening. Unfortunately, the details are not very clear. All we know is that the two clerics were abducted on the 15th of July. They were natives of that part of Kaduna, southern Kaduna. So apparently it is presumed that they are aware of the threat factors in the environment and had moved in the daytime, arrived their destination around 5 p.m. And then the destination was attacked, most likely by any one of the threat elements that exist in southern Kaduna: bandits, organized criminal groups, and sometimes, unfortunately, terrorist groups. Now, it appeared that the abductors did reach out to their loved ones, and in this instance, I think the Catholic Association of Nigeria stood in for the negotiation, and they were preparing the ransom when one of the abducted persons escaped, and then, unfortunately, the lifeless body of the other cleric was found. That's all we know so far.
And this killing is the third in recent weeks of Christian clerics who've been abducted by gunmen in Nigeria, 2 in Kaduna State in the north and 1 in Edo State in the south, and more than a dozen Christian clerics abducted since May, and most of them have been Catholics. As we try to get our heads around this, Dr. Adamu, what do you reckon is going on there?
So, Charles, we just released our report for June 2022, and we highlighted this trend in that report. Now, what we discovered is that there were specific targeting of religious facilities, locations, as well as individuals. While the identity of the victims is definitely religious, in this instance, they were clerics, there were other predisposing factors that may have made them targets. So as an example, in late May or early June, I can't remember the precise date now, an Anglican cleric was abducted and he was interviewed, and it came out during the interview that about 100 million naira was paid as ransom for, by his church. And so definitely that would have increased the targeting of clerics, knowing very well that they could pay such huge amounts of money. The second predisposing factor is, despite this profile, their security posture was unfortunately not so high. So they move around almost freely without any form of protection, perhaps because of the belief that their religious persons are not likely to be targeted. But the reality is, as we have shown in our June report, and like you've highlighted, is there is a specific targeting of religious individuals, not necessarily just Catholics, but generally. The reportage has focused on especially clerics. But if you look at the Northwest, especially places like Katsina, Sokoto, and Kebbi, you would see that there have been also attacks on Muslim places of worship, as well as Muslim clerics. Unfortunately, that doesn't get covered by the news so much. So we kind of focus on the Catholic clerics that have been abducted.
And just briefly, you mentioned it's attacks targeting both Christians and Muslims. The killings getting more brazen, carried out apparently without fear of getting caught. I mean, how much does this reflect on the capacity of the Nigerian security services to respond to this crisis? Very briefly.
Charles, it's really sad. So our statistics show that there was a 145% increase in abduction between the month of May and June. And so clearly the capacity of the Nigerian security forces to prevent these abductions is not in any way adequate. It's increasing.
Dr. Kabiru Adamu, I appreciate your analysis and putting all this in perspective for us. And he is a security and defense analyst and CEO of Beacon Consulting.